We are continuing our series of demos from the West Michigan Quilters Guild Quilts on the Grand 2016 show. This demo is with Kathy Edwards. Kathy and her husband Steve own a shop called Quilts Plus in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kathy is going to take us through showing a bunch of notions and tools for you to use.
Thank you. I'm glad you could come to this demonstration, and I am going to show you tools that are going to make the quilter's life a little bit easier. And we all have fabric. We all have a lot of things in our home and in our stash, and I think that if we can get some tools that really help us to do more quilting and do it more efficiently and make it more fun for us. So I brought several things today. I'm going to start right down here, and we have something that's called a ScrapMaBob. Now, what a crazy name. I've got things that have all different kinds of crazy names, but this is called a ScrapMaBob. You can see the scrap little bin on the end, but the one thing I love about this is where to put a beverage. We are told time and time again we need to hydrate, and when you have a beverage and you're in your sewing room, or you're at your computer, or your husband is out in his workshop, it is nice to have a place to put that glass, that cup, that mug. So there is a cutout in that particular metal part where your glass is going to go, and it has a cutout for if you've got a great big mug, and it's just nice to have that. I'm going to just pick this up and show you the back of this. There is a screw mechanism on the back, and that will go up and under any table, or almost any table, and it screws up there so that it's not going to wobble around, and it is nice and deep, as you can see right there. Okay, so we love that. We keep it at our cutting tables at our store, and we always have our beverage with us. The next thing I'm going to show you is a product put out by Karen K. Buckley, and she's known in the applique realm. Well, this is something for every quilter because it's a cutting mechanism. We all have our long rulers. Excuse me while I just grab this one. We know that all of these rulers are about 24.5 inches long. Karen K. Buckley has come out with with two different ones. They're still the 24.5 inches long, but they fit in this little packet. I have two different ones here. And the concept is this: if you're going to come to my house and sew, or we're going to go to a retreat, then if I have my long ruler, it's kind of hard to package that, isn't it? And if it falls out and it chips the end of that, it's really a frustration because it's kind of an expensive thing, and anyway, it's a nice ruler. But we need that long ruler in order to make those long cuts. Let me show you what she has come up with. First of all, she came up with a 6-inch wide ruler, and it is in parts. So I call it a break-apart ruler. And that is every 5 inches, it breaks apart. Let me show you how easy this is to put it back together, or to get the desired length. Excuse me just a minute. I'm just putting that together think of a jigsaw puzzle. It's metal. It's plastic. So I'm pushing that down, and one of the nice things about this is that it's very, very smooth where that connection comes. And when we're finished today, I want you to come up and take a look at this and get your hands on it. But every 5 inches, you can go ahead and attach those. Turn it around, make your cuts. I'm going to show you how to tear these apart too, because someone was in my booth just a little while ago and they were trying to ratchet like this. You're going to tear it like paper. You're going to tear it like paper. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And this is the end piece. So each time you put these together, again, you have 5 inches and you're adding the 6th. So if you want a 6-inch ruler, after you've made your long cuts, you're simply going to add that to the end. So if you're coming to my house, if I'm coming to your house, I can bring this one ruler, make my long cuts, then I can break that apart. So if I just need a square, or if I need a rectangle, I can go ahead and put the rulers together for that. So this one is a 6-inch ruler. It does come with its own little carrying case or pouch. She also has done a 3-inch. Now, to my knowledge, no one has done a 3-inch by 24. So this is really nice too. Again, you can make your long cuts, break it apart for all your sub-cutting, and again, you're going to just tear it like paper, and it'll come apart every single time. Now, I have these in my store, and I demo these all day. The reason I'm telling you that is they hold together beautifully. And I have taken them apart, put them together, taken them apart, put them together, and they're just a great product. They're just a great product. So again, these are by Karen K. Buckley. This is how they're housed. And one thing I love about this is I didn't have to make this. Now, you know what I mean by that. Finally, it's already packaged for me. And I will mention that in the packaging, there is a paper that's on the back of each one of these. And I am assuming, I'm not a machinist or an inventor, but I am assuming that that paper is on there so that when they are cutting these angles, there's no splintering. So you're just going to peel that off before you start. Okay? So when you see that in the packaging, you just keep that in mind. And this is how it's packaged for the 2 different sizes. How many of you ladies have some fabric at home? I'm pretty sure we all do. And nowadays, what we have is we have a lot of pre-cuts, and we love that. There are 2.5-inch strips, there are 10-inch squares, there's just a lot of pre-cuts that are out there. And those are all coordinated by color from different manufacturers, from different fabric companies. Now, we also have the ability to actually cut some things out of our own stash. So I'm going to show you something. And that is, with our regular ruler, you can make cuts, and one thing we do a lot of are the 2.5-inch strips. And you make a 2.5-inch, a cut, 2.5, and then move that fabric every time. There is a product out there, and it's called the Shape Cut Plus. It is by June Tailor. I'm going to just tip it up so you can see it. It has all of these cuts in here. And without oversimplifying, you would use a cutter, put it in one end, and go down to the other end. And it would be, for example, I'm going to open this fabric and show you what this is going to be like. Because all of our fabric is 45 inches wide, 42 to 47 is what they actually have it nowadays. But this is certainly not that wide. So how do you do that? What we do is we take the fabric, unfold it, or unroll it, I'm sorry, fold that over, and now this will fit easily into our cutting. And what I do is I push it down on one end, and that's already straight. And now as I work across here, I'm not going to cut this because I don't have a mat here with me, but I would do 2.5, 5, 7.5, and each time I make that cut, I don't have to move the fabric, I don't have to move my ruler and reposition that ruler each time. So it really is a time saver, and it's a wonderful product. We use this in our store again all the time, and I use mine at home as well, especially if I'm making a lot of cuts and they're all the same, repetitious. And then I don't have to keep moving this ruler, and when I move it, then I have to kind of eyeball exactly where that needs to go, don't I? So it's just another way of saving time and making it more accurate as you're working on that. I'm going to show you one more product before I move on. With our ruler, when you're cutting, I'm sure you know this, but I'm going to pretend like you don't. So I'm just going to tell you about this. As you are cutting with your cutter, you never want your cutting hand to go beyond your holding hand. Hello. Okay. So I would be cutting. I'm going to stop or pause. I'm going to put my other hand up here. If I don't, when I get up here, that ruler has a tendency to slide, and now my cut is wrong. So OmniGrid has come out with, is it OmniGrid? It is OmniGrid, has come out with a handle. And this is used on the rulers. I'm just going to kind of space it centrally located on that, push down on it, push these handles down. Now it's just suctioned on there. But because it's centrally located, when I make that cut, my weight is pushing down on that so it's equally distributed for the whole length of that ruler. And this is a great tool. I can't speak too highly of it. It's just a great tool. There is one thing I need to tell you about it too, and that is I had a lady come up to me and she said, well, that thing worked about 20 minutes and then it wouldn't stick anymore. And I said, you know, we get a lint buildup. We have a lot of fabric. So when you get home, if you just clean that off and put that back on that ruler, I can guarantee you it's going to work. And she gave me a call and said it did work. But you know how we're in the habit of just working through our project, and all of a sudden one end won't, it just won't cling right now. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and clean that off, reattach it, and you're ready to go. Okay? My next product I want to show you that I think is really neat. I'm going to pick this up a little bit. There is, how many of you, I know everyone here has a cutter. If you're a quilter, you have a cutter, yes? A rotary cutter? And do most of you have this size? Okay. You know that we have, this is called a 45 millimeter. There's a 28 millimeter, it's like a little baby one that hasn't grown up. And then there's a 60 millimeter, which has a huge blade on it. Well, Olfa has come out with a new way to get that blade off of there. Let's say the blade is dull and you need to sharpen it or just replace it. The way, originally when they started making these cutters, and you're unscrewing that, there is a disc in there, and that disc has a little, it has a dip in it, or if you turn it over, of course, it has a little hill. And then when you take the blade out, take the disc off, take the blade out, and then you're reassembling that disc will let you wrestle with it for quite a while. I mean, it can be on there and then it's wiggling back and forth. It can be a frustration. Now, that being said, I didn't throw away any of my cutters, but there is a new thing, and it's called a quick, what am I thinking? Yeah, it's a quick, we're going to quickly change that blade. So it's a quick change, that's it. So there's something on the back. I'm going to pull this down. That blade comes off in my hand. They've done away with that disc. And then I just put it back on when I have a new blade, pop that back up, and it's ready to cut. They've come out with this now in the purple handle. Originally when they came out with it, it was about double this price. Now, I don't know why, because we love the purple and all that, but in the original color, this one is quite a bit more than this one. I want to talk to you too about what you do with that blade when you are finished with it, and it's, let's say it's just that you've cut so many times, and after a while it just dulls. Now there are times also that you know yourself you've hit it with a pin, or you've rammed into the edge of your ruler, and no matter what you do, you cannot salvage that blade. You're trying, and every little while it will click, click, click. You know what I mean. And so it is just a frustration. And you know, the blades are not cheap necessarily, and yet they do a great job for us. So another thing that you can do is we've just gotten a new product out. It's called a TrueSharp, and it's a sharpener for your blade. I'm going to open this up. There are 2 stones in here. Am I doing this right? There are 2 stones in here that do the sharpening. Another thing, with the sharpener, so we've got 2 stones. It also has 2 additional stones that it comes with. They're 4-sided stones. They're going to do the sharpening. They do all 3 sizes of blades. I'm going to take out one of the 45 millimeter because that's the one that most of us have. Most of us work with that one. I'm going to just set one in here. And without oversimplifying, I push that top down. I also have to pull the bottom hinge up, and it locks it. On the back, there's a plug. I didn't bring a plug with me, because I didn't know if we'd have electricity. And then when I turn this around, there's a button here, and I would pulse with that. So you're going to push it down, push it down, push it down. I'm going to open this up. And because of those stones and twirling that blade around, it will do a nice job on sharpening. And there are, excuse me a minute, I wanted to move that over. Let me show you the rest of the things that come with this. One is, I don't really want to reach in there with that newly sharpened blade. I hope it's sharp. So there's a lever here, and if I push down on this lever, I can pick it up with these tweezers. Okay? Let me set that down. This comes with a cleaning cloth. After you sharpen several times, let's say you have several blades that just need to be sharpened, put them in there, there's going to be that residue from those blades. And so there's a cleaning cloth in here. There's a tool so that you can change these stones. And I want to give you kind of a hint on those. Now, it doesn't say this in the instructions, and the instructions are great, but knowing myself as I do, if I had sharpened quite a bit and I want to change those blades, the tool is in here, I would be wise to go and get some nail polish that's red, and I would put a dot on the 2 that I have used, the sides I have used. Because ladies, invariably, when we put those in there, now this time we're going to know that we're going to move them. But if there's no indication that you have already ground on that particular side, you might inadvertently put the wrong side back in and think that isn't going to be working. Okay? These are fine stones. The ones that are in here are coarse stones. So if you really have taken a big nick out of that blade, you want to replace it, put this one in, and then go back to the other one for just your regular sharpening. Again, this is called TrueSharp. It's a nice product, and it's brand new out. So take a look at that also in our booth. If you are a lady that likes to do hand applique, then this is a product for you. I'm going to give this a little turn. We have it's adjustable in the height as well as the angle. So I can have this tipped. If I have this in my lap or if I have it on a table, I can use it. It's going to be hard to see this, but there is a pocket in here for you to put your little scissors in. And usually when I'm doing applique, I have small scissors. So that's for that. Down here, I have 3 spool pins for the different colors of thread I'm going to be using. There's also a magnet for your needle, so we don't lose that. Let's not forget those needles are small. So that's right here. I'm going to just open this and just take one corner of it off. Underneath here, there's a sandpaper board. So now when I am tracing my pieces, they're not going to move. When I'm tracing them on that fabric. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you take a piece of fabric and lay it down and try and draw on that, it's going to skid along. It's going to just move along on there. So with that sandpaper board, it really will make a nice difference on that. Again, this comes over and hugs that beautifully. There's one additional cover that comes with it, and that's for pressing. So it's made totally for we ladies that like to do hand applique. And this is called a lap app. So as you're doing applique, it can be in your lap. I wouldn't suggest driving with that unless you're not the driver, but, but it's very portable and wonderful to take with you. Okay? That's right, that's right. I brought two pressing tools with me as well. The first one is by Clover, and it is a dry iron. And some of you ladies might say, well, I like one that can be dry or also have the steam to it. That's great, but this has its own usage. I love this thing. Number one, notice how pointed it is. When you are piecing a block, you have that, I'll use this as an example. If I were piecing this, then what happens is I need to have a small iron to go across that. If I use a bigger iron and it's as big as my hand, I am already onto the next lane, aren't I? And it's folding back on itself. The point on this is especially nice if you have areas where you need to open a seam. And I have several designs that I've been working on, and I need that seam open. Clover thought of that. This is a great, great iron. Another thing, another feature in it is you are not tethered close to that wall. I love that. I just love that feature of it. So this is a great product, and Clover has been in the quilting industry for years, and I just feel that they do a wonderful job. So that's what that is. And just as a heads up to you, you may already know this, but I'm going to assume you don't. Any irons that you buy nowadays, and I'm not talking about one that you found at Goodwill that was one like your grandma's, but they all have that shutoff feature. It's an automatic shutoff, and it's for your protection and mine. My house won't burn down, that type of thing. So this one will shut off. The next one I'm going to show you is the same thing. So, and this just has a dial for low, medium, and high. Okay? You need to get your hands on that. The last product I'm going to show is also a pressing product, and it is put out by Panasonic. And it is a cordless iron. I just showed you how long this cord is, but let me show you what's going to happen here. This comes with its own carrying case, and as I pull these wings out, that automatically brings that out, so I can pop it off. The base of this unit gets plugged in, so you have power. It has a retractable plug, so this goes on the end of your ironing board, and this is the part you're going to pick up. Before I address too much on this, I want to talk to you about something a customer said to me, and that is, she says, I'm left-handed. And I said, okay, I'm not, I'm right-handed, which made no difference to me, but she said, every iron is made for a right-handed person. And it has to do with this cord that's coming out of here. So I wanted to mention that for over here because there is no cord. And I'm going to just not oversimplify, but you're just going to take it off of its base. Press, press, press. I'm pressing the back of my quilt. I'm going to push that back in there. I'm going to reposition my backing. And in that short period of time, that rejuvenates this so the heat is instantly there and you're ready to press again. On this unit, it's set, and then it's every time you touch this button, it will go from low, medium to high. It does steam. This is where you put your water in. Another nice feature about this is I can leave this plugged in. I can take this off. I can remove this and go over my sink and pour the water rather than pouring it over my tabletop where I might have my product sitting there and it could be a little damp. So I can fill that, snap that shut, slide that back in, and I'm ready to go. Let me show you a couple more features about it. It's pointed on each end. And look at the steam vents on this one. Every iron that I've ever seen, the steam vents are halfway up. So this is really going to do a nice, powerful job. This has no water in it, and I would invite you to come up and get your hands on it. I like an iron that is nice and heavy, and this is. It's substantial for no larger than it is. I'm going to put that back in there. I have to tell you, when I saw this being demoed to me, there was a gentleman there, and I think he was from Panasonic, which was wonderful, and he had this thing, it was just steaming like crazy. And while I was there, I'm thinking, I'm getting a facial. And what happened was, he pressed, and then he threw this in here, he unplugged this, and he slapped that top on there, just like that. And I thought, I'm going to watch that melt. It didn't. But I loved the fact that even though it was hot, and if I were at a retreat and I took this with me and I need to haul it back home, I don't have to wait for it to totally cool. So I wanted to tell you about that as well. Well, I want to thank you for coming to this demonstration and to see these products.
Kathy showed us a lot of tools there. I hope you'll find something that you might Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We wouldn't want you to miss a single show. Please share us with your friends and leave a comment. We would really love to hear from you.